Hello everybody, my name is George Runkle. I'm president of Runkle Consulting Incorporated, and in today's video what we're going to discuss is a very small container building that it has a bedroom in it, a small kitchenette, laundry, and it's going to be used for like Airbnb type uses, and it's going to be put up in Phoenix, and we are having it reviewed by the Arizona Department of Housing as a modular unit, so we'll be using it a number of times. The client's name is Across the Way Custom Construction, which is a bit of a tongue twister for me, so you have to forgive me for that. And let's go ahead and get started and talk about this. Okay, here's our basic structure, and I'm taking a look at it from the outside and got a 3D view here. So let's go ahead and take a look around it. This is basically just two containers together. Two 40-foot, what are known as high cube containers. They're 9.5 feet high instead of 8 feet high, which is a standard cube container. I've got foundations at the corners, obviously, and I had to put two foundations along the center line because we're taking out a lot of the wall in the center, so that eliminates a good deal of support we have along that axis. And pretty simple, just a couple of windows, sliding door in the back, a couple of windows in the back. It's not going to win any architectural awards. There's probably those of you with architectural background that are having a fit about this right now, but you know what? It's inexpensive to build, and it's very useful. So let's take a look at the ground floor of how it looks. Oh, thank you. And we'll save the project. Okay, basically we've just got a simple kitchen. Let's go ahead and color it in, see if that makes it easier to see. Yeah, there we go. It's simply a kitchen with a dishwasher, range, sink, got a little island here, and it's one bedroom, and you have a bathroom with a laundry room with the washer dryer combination, and I'm using an instantaneous water heater. And the reason I'm doing that, let's see if I can get a pointer out of this thing. I can't. Okay, well, sorry about that. I'm using a washer dryer combination to cut down on the space, and we're using an instantaneous water heater below the countertop here that we've got next to the washer, because two reasons. Instantaneous water heaters take up much less space than the traditional water heater, and also for energy conservation. You're using a lot less energy with an instantaneous water heater. I like them much more than your traditional tank water heaters, because you're not heating 40 gallons of water 24 hours a day when it's used maybe 2 or 3 times a day. So it's a much more efficient system for energy use. The downside is, of course, it takes a lot of electricity, so I had to do quite a bit of wiring. It's better if you've got natural gas, but we're not putting natural gas in these units. These are total electric. And there's really not much else to talk about here. We have our I have a ceiling plan that's here, and have just our different views that we've got. That's about it. I mean, have some here. I'll go ahead through the plans here, since this is turning out to be a very short video. We'll go ahead and show some of the plans that we've got. This is your foundation plan over here. Very simple foundation plan. You got your ceiling framing. Very simple. There's not much to it. The way the ceiling is framed, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Also, I'm doing is I'm stiffening up the center member here with some angles, and then I'm just using standard Simpson hangers to hang the 2x joists that I've got. And since I'm not doing anything structural with the framing, I can use, you know, cheaper framing. I'm using number 3 grade for the ceiling joists because I'm not carrying anything. And I'm using stud grade for framing out the walls. And we've got some pretty serious insulation here using closed cell polyiso. I kind of like the idea of using the closed cell insulation instead of using the batt insulation because it forms its own vapor barrier. What I'm kind of concerned with is getting condensation right on the inside of these corrugations, and then the insulation gets wet, and that is probably not going to happen in Arizona because this is going to be hotter than hell. But we could possibly get condensation on the other side right against the sheetrock. And if we've got a closed cell insulation, we don't have to worry about dampness getting into it and all the problems that it causes. And also at the bottom, we've got the closed cell poly insulation. That is critical. You've got to insulate the bottom of these containers because otherwise your floor is going to be hot and it's going to heat up the inside. So it's going to have to be sprayed from the bottom, which is going to be kind of a headache in manufacturing, but it's not something that can't be done. You can lift this up with a forklift, get underneath of it and spray and get it insulated. The other thing is for energy code, we've got to be insulated here anyway. So that's pretty much it. The foundations are just your standard concrete foundations. Now what I've done here is I don't have it going on a base plate. Don't really need to. I've got a 7x7 corner casting that's sitting right there that performs the part of a base plate. So all I'm doing is I'm putting an angle that I'm anchoring into the foundation and then welding it to the corner casting to hold the container in place. And then the center foundations, what I've got to do is I've got to shim between the top of the foundation and the bottom of the bottom rail. So let me see if I can illustrate this better by shading this. There you go. And you can see this a little better. We're putting in a 3/4 inch steel plate on top of the foundation to shim underneath this bottom rail. I'm still going to get a very tiny space here, but it's nothing really to be concerned about. Okay, so that's it. And it's not going to win any awards, but it's going to be relatively inexpensive to build, and it's going to be extremely practical. And it can be used in a number of locations. You could use it for possibly workforce housing for single people that are looking for more moderately priced housing. You can use it for an Airbnb, which is really nice for an Airbnb. You don't need a lot of room when you're just spending a couple of days in an area. And here, one of the things, I've stayed in these as an Airbnb, and there's some nice stuff about this. Let me go back to my floor plan and talk about it. You have a separate bedroom. It's not like staying in a hotel where you've got the bedroom and that has everything. You've got a separate bedroom where you can, and you've got actual cooking surfaces. So if you're staying here for an extended stay, you have room to cook. You have a countertop here. You can put furniture in here. You can put in a tabletop. It gives you a room to work. You can entertain people here without having them, you know, coming in where you're sleeping, which is always an uncomfortable thing if you're staying in a hotel and people come up to your hotel room. And the other thing that's nice about this is it's including its own laundry room. So if you need to wash your clothes, again, if you're in an extended stay for a few weeks, if I'm staying in a place more in about 5 days, I don't bring change of clothes for the entire time. I do my laundry. And it's always kind of a hassle in a hotel to have to go down to the laundry room on the first floor or wherever they put it to do my wash. If they have a laundry room, some of these places don't. You have your own laundry room with a washer and dryer in here. which makes it much nicer. The downside is, of course, you can't fit a bathtub in here. This shower is your minimal size shower that you can put in here. The problem is I have to have 2 foot from area to enter the shower to the wall. So I'm stuck with a pretty small shower, 3 by 3 foot shower. Okay, so that's it. And again, Frank Lloyd Wright wouldn't be designing this, but we're not looking for that kind of audience.